Welcome everyone to Everydayman.net, the everyday conversation for the everyday man. I'm your host, Cordero Hicks. I'm here back with another movie review, The Maze Runner. Let's watch the trailer and I'll be back with my review.
We're running out of time. You've seen what's happening out there.
We're coming up behind! Go! Hang on!
I can handle Thomas. He'll show up eventually.
That's what I'm afraid of.
They took you because you're immune to a plague that's wiping out the human race. They think you're worth sacrificing to find a cure.
They'll never stop until we're gonna stop them.
The last city, Wicked's whole base of operations. It's the lion's den, hermano.
That's where we're going.
3 years we spent behind walls trying to break out. Now we're trying to break back in. Alright, I get shotgun.
The world is dying. If we find a cure, that's the only way all this was worth it.
Do you regret it? What you did to us?
I did what I thought was right.
There's no guarantee we make it back from this.
Well, we started this together. May as well end it that way too.
You still care about it, don't you?
Don't lie to me!
Come on.
How many kids do they have to round up, torture, kill? When the hell does it stop?
It stops when we find a cure. Thomas, you can save your friends. Or you can save us all.
Please tell me.
Right, that was the trailer for The Maze Runner, The Death Cure, the third and final, hopefully the final installment of The Maze Runner. Before we get into it, I'll probably give this movie maybe a 3.5 out of 5. It's not a bad movie. It's not as bad as the second one. It's not as good as the first one either, though. I really enjoyed the first Maze Runner. Thought it was something new, something fresh. I had a lot of suspense in it. The second one kind of dropped the ball big time. Seemed like they didn't know what to do with it. But the third one, they brought it back around a good bit. And this movie can be misleading. I know it's called The Maze Runner, The Death Cure. But this movie, to be honest with you guys, is a rescue mission. Now, if you remember from the second movie, the whole movie they're trying to save Mio, the Asian kid played by Ki-Hung Lee from the second movie that was taken. And the movie opens up on a rescue mission. Come to find out, they didn't get him. So the rest of the whole movie is really a rescue mission and not actually about saving the people or anybody else. It actually is, the whole movie is based around one guy. And I understand that they're friends, and the issue I had with the second movie, along with partially with this one, is that we have a bigger problem than just one man. Okay, you're wasting time, resources, men that you can't have to spare off one person when you can actually try to save the world. And as you hear from the trailer, Thomas is immune, and his blood is pretty much the key to saving everybody. But his mind is set on saving Mio, his friend that was captured in the second movie. He actually started off in the first movie in The Maze Runner. Like I said, I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Dylan O'Brien, he's better in this movie because I think this movie shows his range a little more. Like I say, it's better than the second one, not as good as the first. I know he did a few movies in between before he actually came back to this one, which was good. It sharpened his skills a little bit. But even Will Poulter is good in this movie. Even though we thought he died off, they brought him back, as you can see in the trailer, which is a little nice, little twisted. Even Littlefinger made his way into this film. Now, if you don't know who Littlefinger is, you watch Game of Thrones, you know who I'm talking about. But Eddie and Gillen plays Jansen in this movie. Of course, he's the military head of the security, the military guy. You know who. And it's something about this guy. I don't know whether he always has to play the villain or always has to play somebody who can't be trusted, always trying to get over on people. Because if you watch Game of Thrones, that's what his Littlefinger does. He manipulates, pulls strings, sit back and watch people tear themselves apart. And he's so good at it. I think that he's cast as these characters for a reason, and I think he's a good actor. But I don't want him to always be in these type of roles, even though he is good at it. And like once you see him on screen, it's kind of like, yeah, I know he up to something. He up to something because that's what he does. That's what Littlefinger does. But like I said, the movie was pretty good, even though it is a rescue film. We have some flashbacks, some homages to the first film. Or we have these, I forgot the name of the creatures, but you see one in the trailer. You see one in the trailer. And even though it is a dream sequence, it still has that suspense, and you're always on your toes when you see them on screen, because these things, I mean, cause you saw what they capable of in the first movie. So when they pop up on screen, it's like, oh shit, here we go again. Here we go running again. They got back in this, and even though they're out of the maze, this movie always has somebody running. They actually run throughout the whole movie. So they do stick to anything. They run, and they run their ass off. They run throughout the whole movie. Like I say, for it to be a rescue film, it's pretty good. It's not like the average rescue film, even though it has some dire consequences, because the world is at stake here. You know, it ain't just your average rescue mission. I mean, they're trying to find a cure to help people doing all these tests, and they put these kids through situations that you wouldn't approve of, but in a way it's kind of necessary. So I always understood why they did what they was doing. Maybe they was going a little overboard for my taste, but I always understand, because if you can save the world by sacrificing one, that's usually how, you know, the majority rules. And if you can save the world by sacrificing a few people, that's usually the choice that people usually go with. And I understand the doctors, and you may call them evil, the villains in this movie, but they at the end of the day, they have a good reason why they're doing what they're doing, because they don't. In the movie, we don't know how many are immune, but in the movie they have 28 kids plus our heroes, so to speak, who are immune. And we come to find out that one of them isn't immune to the virus, and you find out who that is later, which another twist that we have in the movie. Like I say, it's not a bad movie. Go check it out. If you guys out there don't have nothing to do this weekend, I don't know what else came out. I think Den of Thieves came out this weekend. If you don't want to go see that, if you want to go check out a movie, go check out The Maze Runner, The Death Cure, because I think you should watch the first one first. If you watch as a standalone movie, it's still not a bad movie. But if you are a completist, if you watch movies, even though you don't like the one in the middle, but you have to finish the story. I've never read the books. I don't know how it is in the books, but for these movies, I think it's a complete story, even though I think the second movie actually dropped the ball a little bit. But if you guys out there completists like I am, go watch this movie. You won't be disappointed, because you only can go up from that second movie. And I think that's in the opinion of pretty much everybody out there. And I think nobody thinks this second movie is really that good, except for the hardcore fans. So with that being said, make sure you guys go check this out. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. The Maze Runner, The Death Cure. With that being said, if you guys like this review, make sure you give it a like. If you listen to it on SoundCloud, make sure you subscribe to our SoundCloud. Leave a comment. Go to our website, theeverydayman.net, where you can check out all our movie reviews, also all of our shows, our Sunday podcast, Wednesday podcast, our Friday podcast, our news, everything in between is there. Thank you guys for listening. Peace.